Hi everybody, this is Mr. Short. Today we're going to talk about metric conversions and dimensional analysis. On page 1 of these notes, we'll get you familiar with conversion factors. Conversion factors are two things that are always equal to one another. We'll take a look at how conversion factors also have an infinite number of significant figures. And then on page 2, we'll learn about a method called dimensional analysis that lets us use conversion factors to convert from one set of units to another set of units. Okay, so to start in with the notes, note that conversion factors are two measurements which are equal to one another. And you're familiar with all kinds of conversion factors. Conversion factors could be like 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Okay, those are two units of measurement that are equal to one another. Could be 60 seconds in 1 minute. Could be 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. And those are all units of measurement that are equal to one another. Now we learned about this when we learned about significant figures also, this concept of conversion factors. So the next point says, note that conversion factors have an infinite number of significant figures. So they have an infinite number of significant figures, and that's explained by Rule 2 of counting significant figures. So remember, when you're counting significant figures, Rule 1 is that all non-zero digits are significant. Rule 2 is about counting operations and so-called exact numbers that have an infinite number of significant figures. And then Rule number 3 is about zeros, and you got to stop and classify the zeros as either beginning, middle, or ending zeros to figure out whether it's significant or not. Okay, we're going to shift gears here and we're going to think about the metric system. So the metric system is just a standard system of units of measurement for things like mass, time, length, and lots of other quantities. And it's built around a standard set of units. The metric system uses factors of 10 to express larger and smaller numbers for these measurements. So if we take a look down at this table, you can see that we've got 1 centered in the middle. And I'm going to refer to 1 as the base unit. It's a base unit of measurement. So for example, in the middle there, we might have meters, grams, or seconds. And notice that in meters, grams, or seconds, there was no prefix in front of the unit of measurement that I gave. I didn't say micrometers or milliseconds. I just said meters, grams, seconds. But then we can modify the meaning of the size of that measurement by putting a prefix in front of it. So for example, if we have a gigagram, that is a really big unit of measurement. And 1 gigagram is equal to 10 to the 9th grams. That's a huge quantity because 10 to the 9th refers to a billion. Conversely, we could talk about maybe a nanosecond. And 1 nanosecond is 10 to the minus 9 seconds. It's a very, very small quantity right there. So what we can do is we can take a base unit and we can modify the meaning of the base unit by putting a prefix in front of it. The prefixes could make it bigger or the prefixes could make it smaller. All right, let's take a look. We're going to read that table of metric conversion factors here and just make some conversions up. All right, so we know in 1 kilometer that there would be 1,000 meters. And notice that there are 3 zeros in the number 1,000. If we go to kilo up here, here's kilo, and it's 10 to the 3rd, meaning 3 zeros. 10 to the 3rd is 1,000. Okay, likewise, we could also say that in 1 kilogram, there are 1,000 grams, for the same reason that in 1 kilometer, there are 1,000 meters. Okay, if we want to relate millimeters to meters, we could say that 1 millimeter, which is a pretty small unit of measurement, or it's a pretty small distance, it's a small fraction of a meter stick, and so it would be 10 to the minus 3 meters, because if you go up here and take a look at milli, it says 10 to the minus 3. So 1 millimeter, 10 to the minus 3 meters. Okay, and then finally, if we want to relate seconds, like 10 to the minus seconds, to the number 1, it would be 1 microsecond. That micro, which is right here, This is called a mu symbol. It's a Greek symbol, and it looks like a U, but it's almost got a trunk off of the front of it. And it's this symbol that's right up here. Okay, that symbol that's right there. See how it looks like a U, but it's got a trunk off of the front of it. Okay, so the purpose of this page is just to get us used to this table of metric conversions right here and thinking about conversion factors. So for example, a conversion factor would be 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. And since that is an exact number, it would have an infinite number of significant figures if we were to multiply